The Philistines, a mysterious and powerful people, left a profound mark on the ancient history of the Near East. You may have heard of them through famous stories in the Bible, such as the legendary battle between David and Goliath. In reality, however, the Philistines were a complex and influential civilization, not only clashing with Israel, but also contributing to the creation of one of the most formidable coastal cultures of the ancient era. Although the Philistines are often depicted as the enemies of the Israelites, particularly through the image of Goliath in the famous story, the truth is that they were also formidable warriors, creative and astute in building their civilization. Archaeological findings in their ancient cities have provided a valuable window into the lives and connections of one of the most powerful peoples in the ancient Near East. So, who were the Philistines? Were they adversaries or builders of a great culture that thrived for thousands of years before disappearing from history? Let's delve into their story, from their legendary battles to the cultural and religious legacies they left behind for the world. The Philistines are believed to have been part of the Sea peoples, a group that emerged in the 12th century BCE. They were a nomadic and warlike people, originating from areas in the western and southern Mediterranean, possibly from Anatolia, modern-day Turkey, or the Aegean Islands. According to Egyptian records, these groups invaded and attacked the coastal regions of the Near East, including Egypt, and later settled in the coastal areas of Canaan. The Philistines resided in 5 major coastal cities in the region of Canaan, known as the Pentapolis, 5 cities. These cities included Gaza, in the south near the border with Egypt, Ashkelon, not far north of Gaza, Ashdod, north of Ashkelon, near the lands of Israel, Ekron, located further north of Ashdod, near the area of Judea, and Gath, often known as the hometown of Goliath in the Bible, situated in the southern plains. The culture of the Philistines was a blend of elements from the Aegean region, ancient Greece and Anatolia, and the local civilizations of the Near East. As part of the Sea peoples, the Philistines exhibited distinct cultural characteristics, heavily influenced by maritime and trade-based cultures. In terms of art, Philistine pottery was distinctive and different from that of other Canaanite cultures. It featured attractive shapes with hand-painted patterns and was often decorated with motifs such as circles, geometric designs, or animal figures. Their pottery typically had bright colors and was made using advanced firing techniques. Additionally, the Philistines crafted intricate decorative items, including jewelry, religious figurines, and other personal items made from metal, stone, and gems. In terms of craftsmanship and industry, the Philistines possessed advanced metalworking techniques, particularly in crafting iron and bronze weapons and tools. They utilized sophisticated metallurgy methods to produce sharp weapons and agricultural tools. The Philistines also had a well-developed agricultural tradition, with main crops including barley and grapes. Additionally, they engaged in fishing and aquaculture, especially in coastal cities like Ashkelon. In terms of architecture and urban planning, the Philistines built fortified cities with large walls and solid structures. Their cities such as Gaza, Ashkelon, Ashdod, Ekron, and Gath featured complex architecture, including city gates, temples, palaces, and residential areas. These cities were often constructed following a model of walled cities with well-developed inner urban areas. In terms of architecture and cities, the Philistines built fortified cities with large walls and sturdy structures. Their cities, such as Gaza, Ashkelon, Ashdod, Ekron, and Gath, featured complex architecture, including city gates, temples, palaces, and residential areas. These cities were typically constructed following the model of walled cities with developed inner urban zones. The religion of the Philistines reflected strong influences from both Aegean and Near Eastern cultures. They worshipped many gods, and their religious rituals included sacrifices, offerings of wealth, and the performance of bloody rites. Temples and statues of gods played significant roles in their religious life. The main gods of the Philistines included Dagon, Ashtoreth, Baal-zebub, and Baal. Dagon was the most important deity in the Philistine religion, worshipped at major temples such as those in Ashdod. Dagon was often depicted as a sea god, associated with agriculture and fertility. In the Bible, Dagon is the god worshipped by the Philistines, with a famous story where they placed the Ark of the Covenant of Israel before the statue of Dagon, only to find the statue had fallen the next morning. Ashtoreth, a well-known goddess in Canaanite religion, was also worshipped by the Philistines. She was the goddess of love, fertility, and war, closely linked to reproduction and prosperity. Statues of Ashtoreth have been found in Philistine archaeological sites. Baal-zebub was another deity worshipped in Ekron, one of the 5 Philistine cities. Baal-zebub can be considered a variant of Baal, the god who protected against plagues and disasters. The name Baal-zebub later became a negative term in the Bible, often translated as Lord of the Flies, associated with negative concepts. Baal was a powerful god in both Canaanite and Philistine civilizations, worshipped as the protector of crops, rain, and grain. Baal was associated with prosperity and fertility, and the Philistines also had temples dedicated to his worship. Philistines performed sacrificial rituals to honor their gods, which included offering animals and wealth. Some archaeological evidence suggests that they practiced human sacrifice during certain religious ceremonies, particularly in times of crisis or on major occasions. The temples of the Philistines were important structures in their religious life. These temples were often built in major cities such as Ashdod and Ekron, where people gathered to perform worship rituals. Philistine mythology is primarily known through stories in the Bible and archaeological records. Although there are few independent accounts of Philistine mythology, the biblical tales of their confrontations with Israel have left a lasting impression. One of the most famous stories about the Philistines is the battle between David and Goliath. Goliath, a giant Philistine warrior, challenged the Israeli army in combat. David, a young Israelite, defeated Goliath with a stone slung from a slingshot, causing Goliath to fall and paving the way for Israel's victory. This story not only highlights the conflict between Israel and the Philistines, but also symbolizes how the underdog can triumph over the mighty. Samson, a prominent figure in the Bible, was an Israelite judge with significant connections to the Philistines. His stories often involve battles against the Philistines, where he used his extraordinary strength to fight them. In the tale of Samson and Delilah, he was ultimately betrayed and captured by the Philistines. Despite his downfall, Samson managed to bring down a Philistine temple in a final act of defiance, killing many of them along with himself. The Philistines were notable adversaries of the Israelite tribes as depicted in the Bible, frequently clashing over territory and power. While their relationship was marked by conflict and warfare, periods of peace and cultural exchanges also existed. Both groups endured domination by powerful empires such as Egypt, Assyria, and Babylon during different historical periods. By the 7th century BCE, the power of the Philistines began to decline with the expansion of the Assyrian and Babylonian empires. Their cities were conquered, leading to assimilation or destruction, which ultimately erased their identity as a distinct people. Nevertheless, their cultural and religious influence persisted, particularly through the stories preserved in the Bible, archaeological discoveries, and their impact on Near Eastern culture. The Philistines left a significant legacy in the ancient Near East, influencing the region's history, religion, and culture. Although they were ultimately overrun by empires like Assyria and Babylon, their contributions continued to resonate in subsequent civilizations. Despite the lack of detailed written records by the Philistines themselves, their presence is evident through archaeological findings and biblical accounts. These sources highlight their societal customs, mythology, and interactions with neighboring cultures. Philistine culture also had linguistic influences. Originating from regions outside the Near East, possibly the Aegean or Anatolia, they likely brought with them language elements reflective of their heritage. Although their specific language remains poorly documented, linguistic and archaeological studies suggest that they used a script or dialect influenced by the Aegean civilization, particularly Greek islands. While the Philistines no longer exist as a separate ethnic group, the term Philistine carries connotations in modern Western languages, often describing someone perceived as lacking cultural sophistication or appreciation for the arts. This reputation may stem from how they were portrayed in the Bible and other historical accounts, often as uncultured rivals to the Israelites and other more noble peoples of the region. Archaeological excavations in the ancient cities of the Philistines, such as in Gaza and Ashkelon, have provided valuable insights into their daily life, art, and religious rituals through numerous precious artifacts. These artifacts include pottery, weapons, jewelry, and artworks that demonstrate a strong influence from Aegean cultures, while also reflecting the cultural intermingling of civilizations in the region. The Philistines were one of the most enigmatic yet significant peoples in the ancient Near Eastern history. Although they were eventually wiped out in wars with major empires like Assyria and Babylon, the legacy of the Philistines endures through archaeological ruins, excavations in ancient cities like Ashkelon, Ashdod, and Gaza, and especially through the legendary stories they left behind. They were not only fierce warriors but also skilled craftsmen, blacksmiths, and pottery artisans with a distinct religion and a culture that bridged Aegean and Near Eastern civilizations. Though the Philistines no longer exist as a distinct people, their heritage, marked by heroic tales, victories, and defeats, continues to be remembered in archaeological research, folklore, and discussions about the past. Their story is a testament to the complexity and multifaceted nature of history, where every people, whether they triumph or fall, leaves an indelible mark on the flow of time. Thank you for joining us on this mysterious journey into the world of the Philistines, a powerful, enigmatic people with a profound influence on ancient history. Were they truly arch-enemies of the Israelites, or rather a great civilization that contributed to cultural, religious, and artistic values that have endured for thousands of years? To make sure you don't miss any thrilling stories about ancient civilizations and other historical mysteries, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications today. Our upcoming videos are guaranteed to bring you fascinating and unique insights you won't find anywhere else. Let's continue this journey of discovery together with Historical Owl, where ancient secrets are unveiled in an engaging and captivating way. And don't forget to share this video with friends if you enjoyed it.